Classic 102.7, this is the Entrepreneurs Network. With me in the studio right now is Lionel Bisschoff. Lionel, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Now, you're involved in something called Mobilitate.co.za, an interesting project, an interesting website. Talks about service delivery, crime spotter, communities, counsellors, causes, and of course news. People can update each other there. Where did the idea for Mobilitate start?
Well, two aspects really. I've always been frustrated with the inefficiency of democracy. So, we elect people every 5 years and then we never hear from them, and we never know who our governors are or who our councillors are. It's all very anonymous.
Yeah.
So we're becoming more and more like a large ant heap. Everybody's anonymous, nobody knows what's going on, and everybody's just running around doing their own thing.
Right.
What I'd like us to be able to do is to get the village back again a bit more.
Yeah.
So that's the one aspect, bringing back the village and getting more accountability, transparency about what is going on and where's our tax money going.
Okay.
And the other aspect is the company behind Mobilitate is called Kaizania. And what we do is we help organizations innovate faster. Large corporates like Absa Capital, MultiChoice and others.
Mm-hmm.
How we do that is we teach them how to make many thousands of small decisions, to decentralize decision making, put in place transparency, feedback, self-organizing teams. And this is, we thought, how can we do this for society? How can we enable self-organizing communities? How can we enable decentralized decision-making? How can we enable people to communicate and have transparency and accountability for what goes on in communities and society? So we built a system that should enable South African society to innovate and move faster as a society towards becoming a better society.
Yeah, because there's a lot of material that, as you say, with regard to, let's talk about Mobilitate for a second. That's you started with, those that are elected, are they doing their job? Where are they? But it goes on beyond that. I mean, there's a robot problem. There's crime spotter problem. It really is. It's quite extensive. So therefore, I would imagine what you've had to create is in itself extensive.
It has. We spent probably about 10 months now for about 10 people working on the system. Just note that it's completely free for all South African citizens, and it's free for use to government as well. So yes, it covers a large aspect of society, and we're continually building the system out. So we're focused on connecting communities, local government, and the actual individual citizens, and then the issues in those communities. So as long as we can get those people to collaborate and communicate and hold each other accountable in their communities, we think we should be able to create a better society, and then to have that information feed back up the hierarchy into municipalities, into provincial government and into national government eventually.
And to take that way of thinking, as you said, you're involved, your company is involved. The name of that company again is?
Kaizania.
Kaizania. You're involved in basically putting all of that together, but also helping big companies train their staff, guide their staff, so that they think more clearly and they communicate better. And that's very important, I would imagine, for all SMEs, for all entrepreneurs out there with small companies.
Absolutely. We're actually about almost teaching corporates to act like a venture capitalist group. So instead of spending a long time thinking up all the intricacies of large projects that they want to tackle, we teach them how to do it in small little itsy-bitsy steps. Understand the risks, reduce those risks, take the next step. Understand the risk, reduce the risks, take the next step. And you can move a lot faster. The old sort of mass production way is, let's figure out every aspect of every problem in this plan that we want, clear all of it up, and then we start. In this fast world that we're living in today, it's a dead model. You can't compete anymore against the Amazons and the Facebooks trying to think up everything up front and then executing perfectly.
Yeah, because by the time you do that, it's been done. Half of it's been done. Yeah.
So it's much more effective to have a very chaotic process almost, but you put it within a framework where you have tight control of risk and you have accountability of the people involved. It's very much, we teach people to use the knowledge worker better. People used to think that bonuses motivate people and that performance plans motivate people. In the knowledge worker economy, we now realize that it's all about purpose, it's all about being able to do something well, and it's about control of what you're doing day to day. You don't want to be told, pick this up, put it there. You want to come up with ideas. You want to achieve something and do it with other people. And that's how we teach companies to use the innate capabilities of humans, basically, to move fast and innovate, but in a controlled way so they don't go and spend the money on willy-nilly things.
When you meet those individuals that make up a team within a company, do you find very often the feedback you get is that they feel that they just turn up, do what they're expected to do, probably less than they're expected to do if they can get away with it, and they feel that nobody really cares whether they can do anything else or more of the same?
Absolutely, and we find this from one organization to the next, basically all over the place. And if you just allow people's creativity to come to the fore and trust them just a little bit. You know, the mass production era, if we think of Henry Ford's plant making all the millions of Model Ts, you were standing on a production line, the parts were coming down there. You were not supposed to think. You were supposed to pick up the part, move it to the next spot, press the button, and the part is produced. The last thing you want is someone in that production line thinking for themselves. So you have these management structures who control everything and watch that everything happens. Nowadays, in this fast-moving economy where we're continuously innovating products and services, it's totally pointless to try and control people like that. You have to set them free, provide them a vision, and give them the ability to go and achieve that vision that you set out for them, and give them as much freedom as possible, but with enough and frequent feedback cycles so that you control that you're heading towards your vision.
Yeah, because if you never speak on a regular basis and say, how can we improve that? How can we improve? I mean, take the Model T scenario that you described there. I'm sure that they very quickly realized, the senior management, that there were better ways of doing things only by watching other people do the same thing over and over again. And then they changed it, and we end up with what we have today.
Absolutely. You know, the Model T Ford was produced for 20 years, the same car. And now we have, for all the different car manufacturers out there, every 2 years a new model.
Yeah.
So the pace of innovation has speeded up so incredibly that you totally have to rethink about how you work and how you invent new products and services.
Going back to Mobilitate, what kind of feedback are you getting to that site?
Excellent feedback. We've got more than 4,000 registered members now. We have 1,500 issues that have been reported. I think more than 300 have been fixed. The municipalities are starting to work with us slowly but surely, so we're becoming copied on the internal emails as they send work crews to potholes and so on. But it's still very very careful from their side to actually endorse us, but we're getting some good responses. And
I see that you've actually posted the details of all 3,000 plus councillors all there.
Absolutely, and they must be held accountable. And the next step we're going to take is the minutes of every ward's council meeting every month will be published on Mobilitate, so that we extract the information, because information is power, and if the politicians keep hiding the information from us, they have more power over us. And we're absolutely dedicated to distributing that information as far and wide throughout the country as we possibly can, to allow people to take some of the power away from the politicians and have a bit more control of their own destiny.
And do you think it's having an impact on the way they're responding to the complaints that have come through?
We're starting to get councillors that now register on the site and take ownership of their pages. It's a little bit slow, but it's starting to happen. Maybe we're a bit cynical about some councillors, but they get paid between 30 and 50,000 rand a month, and by many it's not seen as their full-time job. It's something they do on the side while they're running their businesses. We think it's not really such a great thing if we as taxpayers pay people 30 to 50,000 rand a month and they spend most of the time running their own businesses.
Okay. If people want to check more with regard to your company, the company behind this particular site, where can they go? What's your website again?
It's kaizania.co.za, and that's spelled KAIZANIA.co.za.
Okay, Kaizania. And the information with regards to the services you offer to companies to help them build a better relationship with their employees and so on.
It's also on a training company that we have. It's called the Agile Academy. .co.za.
You teach gymnastics as well, or?
It's about making the elephant dance, as the IBM folks say.
Quite like that. That's very good. Okay, excellent. Well, thank you so much for popping through, Lionel, and being here on the Entrepreneurs Network this evening. Thank you.
My pleasure.